from an undisclosed location in America. You are watching Card to Card, and this is the 24th episode of Card to Card, and I'm pretty excited about this one. This is our first card from the UFO MetaZoo set, Mike the Headless Chicken. Really cool art there. This is by Afton. Get a good look at the art. As you can see there's Mike carrying his head in his wing there, and really cool background. The background in this this artwork is really nice, very detailed. That nice meadow back there, and you have a cow. Looks like it's being abducted back there by a UFO. Really neat. Really love that art. Obviously, I was going to be very intrigued with this card to find out about Mike the Headless Chicken. So, what is Mike the Headless Chicken? Well, this is actually a cryptid that was a real creature. He was born on April 20th, 1945. He was a male Wyandotte chicken breed that lived 18 months after his head was cut off. And Mike is such a legend that in his hometown of Fruita, Colorado, they actually hold a Mike the Headless Chicken Day every May. So Mike the Headless Chicken, very famous chicken. Talking more about this story. There was this farmer, his name is Lloyd Olson. He was planning to eat supper on September 10th, 1945. Mike was about 5 months old at this time, and he won the chicken lottery by being selected to sacrifice his life for supper. And mother-in-law was visiting the Olsons. So for that occasion, they wanted to select a chicken to cook for supper. And the axe was swung and cut off Mike's head, but it just barely missed the jugular vein, and it also left one ear and most of the brainstem of Mike. So it was not a very, very good cut of the head. So it left a little bit of a brainstem there. And I will tell you, I was raised out in the country, and we had to butcher chickens for food. We definitely didn't do it for fun, but this may be a disturbing statement, but when you chop a chicken's head off, it will run around and for about a minute or so, and then it relaxes and it passes away. But Mike did not die. He was able to balance. He could even balance on a perch and walk. He even still would, scratch around and peck for food, and he would try to crow, but his crow was more of like a gurgling noise from his throat. And Mr. Olson, instead of finishing off Mike, he decided to continue to care for Mike using an eyedropper to feed him milk and water, and gave him small grains of corn and worms to eat. So the legend of Mike began to grow to the point of being quite famous. Now, I actually have a picture. This is an actual picture of Mike the Headless Chicken. I wanted to show this. And this is not a joke. This is the real Mike the Chicken. Okay. Again, guys, like every episode of this thing, if you have a soft stomach, a weak stomach, this is not the best show for you to watch because the images can be disturbing. But there is Mike the Headless Chicken. You'll note down at the bottom, there is his head. And as you can tell, there is no head on Mike. So that is the actual Mike the Headless Chicken. Now, believe me, I tried to find video of Mike the Headless Chicken, but I could not find it. It's just too long in the past for there to have been actual video. Well, the legend of Mike began to grow to the point of Mike being quite famous. And he was doing sideshows and was even featured in Time magazine. He was featured in Life magazine. And Mr. Olson was definitely financially benefiting from this. He was making $4,500 per month, you know, off of Mike. Which, in today's money, remember this was 1947, that equates to $54,000 per month in today's money. So Mr. Olson was making big money on the show circuit with Mike the Headless Chicken. However, this has a sad story end to it. The gravy train ran off the rails in March 1947. Mike, overnight, he choked on a small grain of corn that became lodged in his throat, and he was not able to recover. So that is the story of Mike the Headless Chicken. He only lived for a couple of years, but 18 months. He lived 18 months after his head was cut off. So he lived about 2 years. But how impactful, and he generated a lot of income for Mr. Olson. So really cool story, kind of sad. You definitely have to feel for Mike. I'm sure he didn't have the best life, but he did have some life. And it's interesting. The story of Mike the Headless Chicken has rallied chickens all across the world to the point where they are actually rising up against exploiting owners and farmers and such. And we actually have video showing this. Really interesting video. So let's go ahead and we'll watch that. All across the land, chickens are tired of the tyranny and have been rising up against their human captors. These videos are only evidence in all corners of the earth of the chickens saying enough. Chickens are turning the tables on human captors, as evidenced by these shocking videos. How many chickens are going to be sacrificed for hot wings, for drummies, for Popeyes, for KFC? How can this continue? Rise up, my chicken brethren. Okay, so we're having a little fun. All right, so you know, that's obviously in jest, but you can definitely say that you probably wouldn't have a Mike the Headless Chicken in today's climate. It would probably be considered like cruelty to animals. Maybe they should have just went ahead and put Mike out of his misery. But it's a very interesting story nonetheless, and it now has a card in this set. And as we look at this awesome art by Afton, we can look around for some little Easter eggs on the card. So it does say date of birth 1945. That checks out with what we have. In Fruita, Colorado, that's correct. His attack is called Chicken Scratch, which, of course, we know that Mike could still do. And it says, this beheaded chicken might be undergoing the first stages of zombification. The remainder of his brainstem might hold the secrets of the afterlife. Wow. So some deep thought there into the flavor text. And we know that's the only reason Mike was able to survive, was that little piece of brainstem that remained intact. So also, you know, they're pretty accurate with this. I mean, we did see that they preserved Mike's head and used that in the show, in his side shows. And, you know, it's a great card. And definitely, every time I open a pack of UFO and I see this card, I'm definitely going to think back to this story. And what a great card. One of my favorite cards from the set. So, in closing, you know, if you're out on a farm somewhere and you see something whiz by you and you didn't see what it was, but you think it was a chicken, keep your eyes out.